love this quote about it's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate. So if you're unhappy about something, you're the one that's tolerating it. So it's within your control. You can either stand there and moan and moan and moan, or you can actually say, I choose not to tolerate this anymore. This is the action I need to take to step away and out of this situation. So you're not just accepting it. So don't tolerate what isn't aligned with that higher purpose, higher goal. And when you actually create habits, you want to make sure that these habits are all about making impact and working towards that outcome. So you need to be absolutely obsessed with the outcome that you're driving towards, and then have habits that are all just working towards that. We have the ability to practice what we want to grow, so the whole neuroplasticity element that I've been talking about, because the more you practice it, the more you grow the neural pathways that make it easy and make it feel natural. So Shauna Shapiro, her TED Talk is brilliant. I really recommend watching that. She's a neuroscientist. Has anyone come across her before? Yeah.
I have actually.
Yeah.
A quote that I use.
Yeah. It's so good.
I do like TED Talk.
And she just says, practice what you want to grow. And it's so simple. If you want to get good at something, just start doing it until it becomes easy. So I'm going to make myself talk and talk and talk and talk in front of audiences until I'm not nervous or scared anymore and it's easy. And then I can get that job I want when I'm 65 and be a speaker. So, just keep doing it. But you have to have habits and the action. And that's when you start firing all those neurons that create your new brilliant bit of your brain that you want. Okay, so how do we actually form habits? The book I want you to read here, if you're going to go and explore the science of habits, is Charles Duhigg. Has anyone read that? The Power of Habit. It's absolutely brilliant. D-U-H-I-G-G.
And what's the book called?
The Power of Habit. It's one of the best books that's ever been written on the power of habit. And he's basically teaching us this, how do we actually form habits, but then how can we actually create new habits. So the way...
habits, not the negative habits.
Yeah, exactly. So once we've identified a habit that we know is harming us, or we know that there's a new habit we would like to embrace and encourage into our lives, how do we actually do that? So the actual habit formation loop is just formed basically by a cue, and then habitual behaviour, and then a reward. So I'll give you an example. A habit I needed to break was I really wanted to give up coffee, but I had a cue that was every time I would finish a meeting, I'd come out and I'd feel a little, I did that, just have a little treat. And then walking along past a Starbucks, past a Costa, and like, I'd love a nice frothy latte. I don't particularly like coffee. I really believe it's a poison. I know it makes me all jittery and I'm high energy anyway, so you know me on coffee is even more ridiculous. But I've got this cue that is when you come out of a meeting and you go past a Starbucks, you buy a coffee. So then the routine is I then go in and I buy my latte, and the reward is, I feel lovely. I feel, oh God, yeah, I did well in that meeting, now I'm treating myself. Life is so good. So I don't want that habit anymore. So what do I do? So basically you've got to identify what is the trigger, what is the cue that is triggering the behaviour that is then the routine habit. So for me, my cue was I've had a meeting, I've done something that was intense and I want to reward myself. So the routine I have at that point is I normally go into Starbucks, get a latte, but what I did is I broke the routine by saying I'm going to supplant that going into Starbucks with something different. Something that's going to make me feel as good as that reward, which the latte was. So I'm still going to get the reward, I'm still going to be triggered by the cue, and I'm still going to have the reward, but I'm going to do something different at point 2 in the routine. So for me, it was, I'm going to call my mum. And it was something totally different, but it was something that would make me feel really good, because I'd done something nice, it was something I could do, I could fit it into my routine. And so that became my new habit. I'd come out of the meeting, I'd walk past Starbucks, and I'd be triggered to go, I need to call my mum, who of course was like, what's wrong? Because I don't normally call her in the middle of the day. But it was great because I broke the habit of having a coffee after every meeting. So does that make sense? Is that like a really easy principle to follow. If you read the book, he goes into so much more detail, but that's all you need to be thinking about. And so what I want us to do now is actually spend just 10 minutes on this, where we go into some of our own habits and think about what's going to move you towards your goals, aligned with your higher purpose. Think about habits that might be harming you or habits that you want to introduce, and just think about the cue, routine and reward system. Okay? Has everyone got the brain power left to do?
Oh yeah.
Another little exercise?